A widow stands on a dusty road with nothing but a bundle of clothes and a young woman at her side. The wind is dry. The road is long. The future looks empty. And still, the young woman holds on and says, "Where you go, I will go." This is where our story begins. There was a famine in the land of Judah. Food ran out. In the town of Bethlehem, a man named Elimelech had a wife named Naomi and 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion. They could not feed their family, so they left their home and crossed the river to a country called Moab. They were strangers there. The hills were different. The language sounded strange, but there was grain in the fields, and life felt possible again. In time, Elimelech died. Naomi was left with her 2 sons. The sons took wives from Moab. One was Orpah, the other was Ruth. For a while it seemed their pain had eased, but after about 10 years, both sons died too. 3 women stood together in a house that felt too quiet. 3 graves marked their losses. Naomi looked at what was left of her life and saw only empty rooms and empty hands. She heard a small rumor from Judah. The famine had ended. The Lord had visited his people with bread. Naomi decided to go home. She packed what little she owned. Orpah and Ruth walked with her to the border road. Naomi looked at the 2 young women and felt a sudden rush of love and sorrow. "Go back," she said. "Return to your mother's houses. May the Lord be kind to you, as you have been kind to the dead and to me. May you find rest in the homes of new husbands." She kissed them. They cried. Orpah kissed Naomi, wept hard, and turned back toward Moab. It was not wrong. It was the normal choice. It was the safe choice. But Ruth did not move. Naomi tried again. "Look, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go with her." Ruth lifted her eyes. Something steady shone there. "Do not urge me to leave you or to turn back from following you," she said. "Where you go, I will go. Where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried." Naomi saw that Ruth would not turn back. They walked on together. They came to Bethlehem at the start of the barley harvest. The whole town stirred. Women whispered, "Is this Naomi?" She heard her name, which meant pleasant. It felt wrong on her tongue. "Do not call me Naomi," she said. "Call me Mara," which means bitter, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me. I went away full, and the Lord has brought me back empty. She did not say this in anger. She said it the way a tired heart speaks when it is honest. They needed food. In those days, God's law gave a small mercy to the poor and to strangers. Harvesters were told to leave the edges of the field and the grain that fell, so the poor could gather it. Ruth asked Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and glean wherever I find favor." Naomi nodded. "Go, my daughter." Ruth walked into the morning light and chose a field at random. Or, that is how it looked. The field belonged to a man named Boaz. He was a relative of Elimelech. He was respected in town, known for steady work, fair weights, and a kind way with his workers. Boaz came from Bethlehem to check the harvest and greeted his workers, "The Lord be with you." They answered, "The Lord bless you." He saw a young woman he did not know, bent low, picking fallen stalks with careful hands. "Whose young woman is this?" he asked the foreman. The foreman said, "She is the young Moabite woman who came back with Naomi. She asked to glean and has worked from morning till now, with only a short rest." Boaz walked over. He did not raise his voice. He did not stand too close. "Listen, my daughter," he said, which in his mouth was a word of care, not control. "Do not go to glean in another field. Stay here, close to my young women. Watch the field, they reap and follow them. I have told the young men not to touch you. When you are thirsty, drink from the jars they have filled." Ruth bowed low till her face was near the dust. "Why have I found favor in your eyes, that you should notice me, since I am a foreigner?" Boaz answered, "Everything you have done for your mother-in-law since the death of your husband has been fully told to me. How you left your father and mother and the land of your birth, and came to a people you did not know. May the Lord repay you for what you have done, and may you receive a full reward from the Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge." At midday, Boaz invited her to eat with the workers. Bread, roasted grain, fresh water. He passed her portions with his own hand. After the meal, he he quietly told his men, "Let her glean even among the sheaves, and do not reproach her. Also pull out some from the bundles for her, and leave it for her to glean. Do not rebuke her." Ruth worked till evening. She beat out what she had gathered. It was a large measure, more than most would expect from strangers' hands. She carried it into town. Naomi looked up in surprise. "Where did you glean today? Blessed be the man who took notice of you." Ruth told her everything. She spoke the name Boaz. Naomi's face changed. Something warm returned to her eyes. "May he be blessed by the Lord, whose kindness has not forsaken the living or the dead," she said. "That man is a close relative of ours, one of our family redeemers." She told Ruth to stay close to the young women of Boaz and not to risk other fields. Ruth went out day after day through the barley harvest and the wheat harvest and lived with Naomi. The weeks passed. The fields turned from green to gold to stubble. The air grew dry and sweet with the scent of cut stalks. Naomi's mind turned from daily bread to long future. "My daughter," she said one night, "should I not seek rest for you, that it may be well with you? Is not Boaz our relative? Tonight he winnows barley at the threshing floor. Wash and anoint yourself. Put on your cloak and go down to the threshing floor. Do not make yourself known to the man until he has finished eating and drinking. Then when he lies down, note the place where he lies. Go and uncover his feet and lie down. He will tell you what to do." This plan sounds strange to us, but in their day, it was a way to speak without words. It was a way to say, "You are a redeemer. Spread your cloak over me. Take me under your care according to the law." Ruth listened and said, "All that you say, I will do." Night fell. The threshing floor was a flat place where the grain was separated from the stalk. Boaz ate, drank, and his heart was good. He lay down at the end of the heap of grain to guard it from thieves. The workers slept in a ring at a distance. Ruth came softly like a shadow and laid down at his feet after lifting the edge of his cloak. At midnight, the man was startled and turned over. A woman lay at his feet. "Who are you?" he asked. "I am Ruth, your servant," she said. "Spread the corner of your garment over me, for you are a redeemer." It was a bold request, not to take, but to ask for lawful care. Boaz did not shout. He did not send her away. His voice was gentle. "May you be blessed by the Lord, my daughter. You have made this last kindness greater than the first by not going after young men, whether poor or rich. And now do not fear. I will do for you all that you ask. All my townsmen know you are a worthy woman. It is true, I am a redeemer. Yet there is a redeemer nearer than I. Remain tonight, and in the morning, if he will redeem you, good, let him do it. But if he is not willing, as the Lord lives, I will redeem you." She lay at his feet till morning. But before dawn he sent her away, so no one would accuse her of wrongdoing. He measured 6 generous portions of barley and put them in her shawl. "Do not go back to your mother-in-law empty," he said. Ruth returned. Naomi asked, "How did you fare, my daughter?" Ruth told her all. Naomi listened, nodded, and said, "Wait, my daughter, until you learn how the matter turns out. The man will not rest, but will settle the matter today." Boaz went to the city gate. That is where business was done, in the open, with elders as witnesses. The nearer Redeemer passed by. Boaz called, "Turn aside, friend. Sit down." He gathered 10 elders. He said, "Naomi has come back from Moab and is selling the land that belonged to our brother Elimelech. If you will redeem it, redeem it. If you will not, tell me, for you are first in line. I come after you." The man said, "I will redeem it." Boaz said, "On the day you buy the field from Naomi, you also acquire Ruth the Moabite, the widow of the dead, to carry on the name of the dead with his inheritance." The man paused. He weighed the cost. "I cannot redeem it for myself, lest I impair my own inheritance. Take my right of redemption yourself, for I cannot." He took off his sandal and gave it to Boaz. This was the way of sealing a deal in those days. Boaz spoke to the elders and all the people of the gate. "You are witnesses this day that I have bought from Naomi all that belonged to Elimelech and to Mahlon and Chilion. Also Ruth the Moabite, the widow of Mahlon, I have taken to be my wife, to raise up the name of the dead in his inheritance, so the name of the dead may not be cut off from among his brothers and from the gate of his native place. You are witnesses this day. The elders and all the people said, "We are witnesses." They spoke blessings over them, blessings remembered from stories of old, blessings of many children and a strong house. Boaz married Ruth. The Lord gave her conception, and she bore a son. The women of the town came to Naomi and said, "Blessed be the Lord, who has not left you this day without a redeemer, and may his name be famous in Israel. He shall be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age, for your daughter-in-law, who loves you, who is better to you than 7 sons, has borne him." Naomi took the child and laid him on her lap and became his nurse. She held the tiny weight and felt years of sorrow loosen in her chest. The women named the child Obed. He became the father of Jesse, who became the father of David. If you pause here, you see a simple line: famine, flight, loss, loyalty, mercy, work, a night on a threshing floor, not of shame, but of clear words and careful care. A public promise at a city gate, a marriage, a child, a family restored. But there is also a longer line, one that reaches beyond one town and one time. Obed is the grandfather of King David, and from the line of David comes the one who is called the son of David, the one who gathers strangers and natives into one family, the one who turns bitter into pleasant again. Look at Ruth and see the shape of true love. She leaves her home, her gods, her safety, and binds herself to an old widow with nothing to give back. She wakes while it is still dark to glean. Her hands grow rough. Her back aches. She does not chase a man for fun or for show. She keeps quiet and steady. When she speaks, she uses words that hold. Where you go, I will go. When she goes to the threshing floor, she does not grasp. She asks. She lays her need at a good man's feet and trusts God with the rest. Look at Boaz and see the shape of true strength. He guards the weak. He tells his men not to touch the foreign woman. He gives water and food. He makes it easy for her to gather, but he does not shame her with gifts she did not ask for. He blesses her in the name of the Lord. He keeps his words clean and his steps slow. He settles matters in daylight, in front of witnesses. He pays the price and takes the risk. He covers Ruth with his care the way a cloak covers a cold back. Look at Naomi and see the shape of honest faith. She comes home with a heart that says, "I am empty." She does not pretend. She does not fake a smile. And still she turns toward the Lord, not away. She teaches Ruth the customs of the land. She plans with wisdom. She waits when she must. In the end, she holds a child, and the women bless her, and her mouth learns a new name for herself again. Maybe you feel like Naomi at the start of our story. You left full. You came back empty. You cannot see how the broken pieces can ever fit again. Maybe you feel like Ruth, a stranger in a place that is not your own, trying to make a life with nothing but your hands and your hope. Maybe you feel like Boaz, with a choice to make about what kind of person you will be when no one is looking. This story gives you a path. Be loyal. Be kind. Be honest. Work with your hands. Keep your word. Trust God with the parts you cannot reach. Ruth's pledge to Naomi holds power even now. Where you go, I will go. It is not only the promise of a daughter to a mother. It is the sound of a heart that has decided to stay. In a world where people quit fast, Ruth stays. In a world that measures worth by a bank or a name, Ruth is worth more than 7 sons because she loves with her whole life. She becomes a branch in a tree that will one day give shelter to many. Some people hear this story and think it is small. No army, no throne, no fire from heaven, just a field and a gate and a wedding. But do not call this small. This is how most of our lives are lived. The field you walk, the people you greet, the way you keep a promise, the way you handle a stranger, the care you show in a quiet room. These are the places where God writes his work. Think of the morning Ruth first gleaned. She had no plan but to look for a field where someone would be kind. She did not know the owner's name. She did not know that Naomi had a relative nearby. She did not know that her choice to stay would place her on a path that led to a child in Naomi's arms and a place in a royal line. She just woke, asked, and went. Most days look like that. You do the next right thing. You keep your word. You pray simple prayers. You help someone carry a load. You let the Lord open the doors you cannot open. At the threshing floor, Ruth said, spread your garment over me. The word for garment can also mean wing. Do you remember Boaz's blessing at noon? Under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Ruth asked Boaz to be the human answer to his own prayer. That is often how mercy moves. We ask God for shelter. God sends us people who act like him. He asks us to be those people for someone else. There's a little detail at the end that matters. The women did not only bless Ruth and Naomi, they blessed the child by the way they spoke about him. He will be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. Babies cannot fix the past, but they can teach our hearts how to hope again. Every new act of faith is like a child in our arms. It is small, it is not strong yet, but it is real and warm, and it grows if we feed it. Naomi, who once said, "I am empty," now held fullness she did not expect. Some people hear this story and think it is small. No army, no throne, no fire from heaven, just a field and a gate and a wedding. But do not call this small. This is how most of our lives are lived. The field you walk, the people you greet, the way you keep a promise, the way you handle a stranger, the care you show in a quiet room. These are the places where God writes his work. Think of the morning Ruth first gleaned. She had no plan but to look for a field where someone would be kind. She did not know the owner's name. She did not know that Naomi had a relative nearby. She did not know that her choice to stay would place her on a path that led to a child in Naomi's arms and a place in a royal line. She just woke, asked, and went. Most days look like that. You do the next right thing. You keep your word. You pray simple prayers. You help someone carry a load. You let the Lord open the doors you cannot open. At the threshing floor, Ruth said, "Spread your garment over me." The word for garment can also mean wing. Do you remember Boaz's blessing at noon? Under whose wings you have come to take refuge. Ruth asked Boaz to be the human answer to his own prayer. That is often how mercy moves. We ask God for shelter. God sends us people who act like him. He asks us to be those people for someone else. There is a little detail at the end that matters. The women did not only bless Ruth and Naomi, they blessed the child by the way they spoke about him. He will be to you a restorer of life and a nourisher of your old age. Babies cannot fix the past, but they can teach our hearts how to hope again. Every new act of faith is like a child in our arms. It is small, it is not strong yet, but it is real and warm, and it grows if we feed it. Naomi, who once said, "I am empty," now held fullness she did not expect. So here we are, back at that dusty road in our minds. A widow with no plan. A young woman with a brave heart. A town that whispers. A field where a steady man works. A night on hard ground with clear voices. A gate where elders listen. A home with laughter again. The story moves like a song with verses that echo each other. Loss, loyalty, labor, love, and life. It does not confuse. It does not rush. It takes each step in order, and before you know it, you are standing in a house where people say, "Blessed be the Lord." If this story reached you, do one simple thing right now. Like this video, so more people find it. Subscribe for more Bible stories told plainly from the heart, and share it with a friend who needs hope today.